Hello, welcome back. So let's assume that we have an employee table, and then there are 14 rows right now, and in this company, who is maintaining this database. So there is a rule, and the business rule is that there will not be any commission or bonus for employee whose job description is analyst. Okay, so that means if Bolt is a new employee and Bolt's job description is analyst, then the commission that Bolt is going to get is 0 or null. Okay, so the question here is, how do you ensure this happen by using constraint? Okay, so you have already learned about Oracle database constraint. So can you use constraint so that we can ensure that this kind of business rule be maintained? Okay, so it may not happen. Okay, so basically what we can do here is another option that we can just build an application, and in that application we are going to give a simple form where a data entry clerk is going to enter data. Okay, so in this case, whenever he is entering data and where the job description is analyst, okay, in that case what we can say that we can do a validation in this client side before we submit that SQL statement, insert statement to the database. We can ensure, we can put some logic that if the job description is analyst, then commission should be null or 0. Okay, so however, we build this kind of application and when we give it to this data analyst, or we give it to the clerk, and this data entry clerk is going to use this application. As long as this data entry user is using this application, then we should be fine. There's no problem at all. But if, let's say, this data entry clerk knows what is the database name, how to connect, like the user ID, password and schema to this database, then if he knows those things and he's a little bit smart, then what he can do, he can open up a SQL Plus or SQL Developer or any other tools, any other clients by which he can connect to this database. And what he can do an insert statement like this where the commission column is 100. Okay, so if the commission value he is putting 100, then what happened is that he is basically, this data entry clerk is breaking the company rule that there will be no commission for analyst. Okay, so this rule is violated. Okay, so now the question is how we prevent this. Okay, the question is how can we prevent the data entry operator to insert wrong data to the database. Okay, so that's one question. Let's ask another question. Let's say in this employee table you have the employee number 7844. Let's say his salary was 1500. Okay, somehow is another data entry clerk, he just want to go and then randomly change this value to say 5000. Okay, so that means he increased the salary of employee number 7844 from a 1500 to 5000. Okay, so in that case what you like to know is that whenever this kind of critical things got updated, I like to have a log of the update. Like in that log I would like to know who updated and what was the old value of salary, and so when this update occurred. Okay, and then for which employee ID this update happened. Okay, so these are the couple of information that I would like to log automatically whenever some update is happening. Okay, and let's call that one as emp_log table, and emp_log table I am going to log a update to the main table. Okay, so the question is here is number one. Number two is how do we audit? Okay, so this is basically called auditing. Okay, so how do we audit a transaction? So to do this thing, like you must have already guessed how can you do this. Like, say for example, whenever this thing happen, something else is going to happen, right? So that means whenever something is happen, some other things should happen just parallelly. Okay, and that is called database trigger. So database trigger is the functionality, okay, that will allow you to ensure this kind of, that will answer you this kind of questions. In next couple of videos we are going to take different scenarios, and we're going to try to do how try to come up with a solution to prevent this kind of things to happen. Thank you.